feet above the fly up to win the premiership fly. Our boys who play this capital game are always striving for glory of fame. Feet above the fly up the other teams they don't fear. All right, I'll save you. I'll save you the rest of it. G'day, everybody. Welcome to a Monday night live stream where, as you can see, we're up and about. We're in the eight. And I'm not going to talk about the plank of God. I'm not going to talk about it. It is what it is. We take it and we move on, and we are in the eight. Hope you all are having, you need a bit of luck. Sometimes you need just a little bit of luck, and that is what we had. Now, we deserved to be up a lot more in the end than bad kicking is bad football. We've said it many times, but we take it and we move. We take it and we move. Let's have a look. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the eight. Only for now, of course. Just for now. But if you told me at the start of the year that the Bombers are going to be 4-2, having travelled to Adelaide twice and travelled to Sydney, I would have said there's no way in the world that we're 4-2. No way in the world. This is a great time to be alive. It's a great time. Boy Dot, how's it going? Oh, Sim, I love it. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I love it. You got a trio going. Boy Dot, Sim, and Flagpies had the song going. I love it. Well done, fellas. Zach, how's it going? Hey, boys, thoughts on Cadman, Lazaro, and Sanders? We'll leave that for when Big J comes on. There he is.
What's up, Joe? How you doing? How you going, guys? Joe's very happy. Don't talk to me about football, Joe. I like SuperCoach. I don't like my AFL team. Tell you what, I'm not happy.
I was just saying. We've got to hear. We're 7th on the ladder. Skits, I can see it in your smile. Correct? Oh no, sorry, Boy Dot. I'm sorry, bro. It is. I gotta rep the club, bro. I gotta rep the team. You know.
Of course, you do what you can as a fan, right? You be happy when your team wins, and I can be cranky that my team lost. It's all good. Nothing's
Exactly.
happening. Yeah,
100%. You never know when the next win comes, so you just got to take it when you can. Free kick Adelaide. Gold your ghost. You are lucky with the Draper the Seal, bro. I have never seen anyone willingly plank on the ball before. Like, that was amazing. It was amazing. You're like, oh, hands out. He didn't scoop it in. He didn't dive. He didn't scoop. He didn't take possession. He was almost like he was shepherding the ball, as crazy enough as it is. So, mate, maybe he's a bit of a genius. Maybe he's found a loophole in the rules. Maybe he was taught it by Brad Scott.
Maybe Brad Scott's taken them for swimming lessons or something.
Oh, that would have been pretty funny. Sports Nut, how's it going? Congrats on your first win. Yes, it was against North, but congratulations. Look at this. Zach Rashid, as a Port fan, I now love Sammy Draper. Anything to beat the Crows, and Zach and Port Adelaide would be very happy about this. Lucky Adelaide clearly robbed. Bro, if we kicked straight, that game would have been over a long, long time ago. We were up by a lot in that. I mean, we just couldn't. All this talk about, Essendon's accuracy is so good. And then we get to the game, and we couldn't kick a goal to save our lives. 10-18 it was. So, come the Dons. Let's go, Cheese. Let's go. I'm sorry. Boo, brew. I don't know if you're supposed to try and say boo, but yeah, it is what it is. Sports, I'm happy as with the Hawks, but honest question for you. With North, where do you think they're at? And do you see them winning a game this season, Big J?
Well, I spoke to Joe on the way here. I reckon we could go 23-0, to be honest. Sorry, not 23. So 0-23, not 23-0. You know what I mean. Yeah, it's a real tricky one. North Melbourne are one of those teams, I've said it before, where the McDonald's that, is being run by kids and the manager turns up and does the rosters every week and then goes home. That's effectively North Melbourne at the moment. We've got the right players, I think. We've got enough young kids coming through, but it's really the established players that aren't pulling their weight, unfortunately. It's the guys who've been there for a while or the guys we're bringing in. They're just not doing well enough. We're really struggling in that department. I think there's a lot of players around there who, should be doing a lot better than what they're doing. And yeah, I think there's a lot of free agents we've missed out on over the period who could have been a good player for us. Mabio Chol, for example, could have played a role at North Melbourne. Not have to be a superstar, but at least someone who can ruck and play forward. He was on the trade table. North didn't want him. We get murdered by them on the field every week. So really got to start looking to bring in these guys who are your, not your fringe players, but your good role players. We need some really good leadership because, unfortunately, I just don't think Jai Simpkin and maybe not Jai Simpkin, but Luke McDonald's not getting a game at other clubs. I don't have no idea how these guys are the captains. We're just not doing well, and it really sucks to be a North Melbourne fan at the moment. It's really painful. I think I saw a stat today that was since 2020. So here's this, right? Since 2020, 12 wins, 1 draw, 77 losses. That's North Melbourne since 2020. It sucks. Yeah, it really sucks.
Yeah. That's what Kai has to say here. Thanks, Kai, for coming on, man.
Yeah, it's tough. The problem, I think Phillips over McDonald is one of those real misses as well. Should have picked McDonald. Obviously, wasn't great. I think one of the big things as well is just, as you say there, North Melbourne has always come in and tried to pick best talent available. Until their credit, I think they've probably done that a little bit. But the engine room of your team is your midfield. And when midfielder is available, it's like, cool, well, I could go and try and get this guy in the trade period, but, do we want to get rid of a kid to be able to play him? Who's going to miss out? All those kind of questions start coming up. And, it was terrible. As Ian says here, was at the game, North fan, it was deplorable. Yeah, exactly how I feel, Ian. It was really tough to watch. And, there's a reason why only 5,000 North fans ever show up to these games. Because why? Why would you turn up and then just feel like shit?
Yeah, I mean, is Big Clarko the right man for this team?
I
saw briefly. I didn't watch all of access all areas. The Lloydie, Purple, and the third person I forgot. They were talking a little bit about whether or not Clarko is the right man for the job, and that when he was at the Hawks, I know Purple Damien Barrett was trying to make an argument saying that when he was coaching at the Hawks, they already had Hodge, for example, over there. They already had some pretty important cogs in the machine, so to speak, to then enable them to get going. Whereas he doesn't see that equivalent type of player over there at North. I know Lloydie was trying to defend it, saying it's too early to just say, Clarko's the wrong man for the job. But it seems that Damien Barrett is not giving Clarko any sort of leniency here.
It's a tricky situation to be in because when you've inherited, it's not an excuse, right? But when you've inherited a list, the AFL is very, very fickle. It's not like how you can do it in regular jobs where if someone's under contract, you can get rid of them if they're underperforming. You can't do that. The AFL basically says, cool, previous administration, previous coaches come in, you've got 5 years, you're contracted for 5 years. Very, very rarely does a player ever get traded or get rid of in general, even if they're underperforming and they've still got time left on their contract. It just never happens at all. Yeah. And I think Clarko has come in and really started to try and change a few things, but he can't do anything with the team. We've still got dud contracts. We've still got players under those things. He's tried to bring in players this year. They obviously haven't been that successful, but you can only do with what you've got. I can't go get rid of CCJ's contract, for example. I can't go and delist him. If I was the coach, cool. Well, the AFLPA says you're stuck because the he got 5 years, so get rid of him in 2 years. Yeah, exactly. It's tough. It's really tough. Now, Ben Mackay leaving, yes or no, wasn't the best thing. We got, who did we get? We got McKercher out of the trade. Him or Dersma, cool. Player for the future. I really hope that there's some players coming through. I know we've got Will Dawson from playing in the VFL, going to play in the AFL hopefully soon to come in and cover some of those problems. But yeah, totally agree. Defense is a real struggle. I don't know if a younger coach, the thing is, right? Sports Nuts here saying younger coach. The way that North Melbourne is at the moment, I think if a young coach was playing, he'd go into mental breakdown. Like legitimately, the amount of pressure that's coming to Clarko at the moment and the North Melbourne team to play better, to do all these things. Heck, I know I've posted on Twitter and said, hey, I'm not happy as a North fan. But imagine if you were like a first club, coach and things like that coming through the system, not having go through all of that before and dealing with that at the moment, it would really suck. They mental breakdowns for the wazoo. So, yeah, I think Clarko being the older person, he can take on a lot of the shit from people. He can bounce back and do things like that. But the rebuild's not going to be quick. It's not going to be, next week. And I think a lot of North fans are just not happy about it, really. There's a lot of guys there. A lot of stuff has to get fixed. The problem, Zach, we can draft key defenders, but we're drafting key defenders. Doesn't mean they're going to play well in the first year of game. That's the big issue, is that we can bring in as many key defenders as we want and, through the draft and probably mid-season draft and whatever. If they're not game ready, what 18-year-old kid is going to stop the gorillas of the defense, of the AFL? It's just not going to happen. So more 18-year-olds is not the answer. We need guys between 24, 29 who want to play AFL. Chuck some money, North Melbourne. More kids is not good. And as Ian says here, yeah, that's the problem. And guys like Cam Zurha have already checked out. He's going at the end here. I was saying to Joe off air, right? Why would a guy recontract at North Melbourne when he gets good offers at another club? Cool. Well, I'm going into retirement at North Melbourne. I'll play every week, but we'll never make finals for the next 4 years. So it kind of doesn't work. Tom Powell's still good. I think Tom Powell was always a speculative pick in the midfield. He's made us a bit of money. Give him a couple of weeks. He's not your worst player on field, which is the best. Get rid of the other players, finish the team, and then you can come in and make changes to a guy like Tom Powell. Him plus a rookie upgrade will equal a primo in any sense of the word. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind Tom Powell. I don't mind Tom Powell as a pick. I don't think he's as Big J says, he's not the biggest concerns that you've got. He's still got the role. He's still the third highest CBA attendee over there behind, and that's Treston Sherry, the ruckman. So when it comes in terms of midfielders, it's LDU number 1, Tom Powell number 2. Even with Simpkin and Phillips both in the side, he still had 77% CBA. So the role is still there, and as a result, you just got to keep backing it in. As long as the role is still there. Unfortunately, they were a lot of the damage was done in the first half, wasn't it?
Oh, that's how it always is, Joe. So it was let the other team go bang, and then cool. Oh well, we'll try and scrape a good score and see what happens.
Yeah. So all the damage was done in the first half, where the lead got pushed out to at where it is, and then all this hard work and all this great performance that you're doing in the second half. Well, the game's dead and buried already by this point. So you're just not getting the scaling that comes with the close game. So it's unfortunate. If this game wasn't in the 40-point margin mark, and it was maybe around the 10 to 20, then you would see that all of his things that he's doing at this part of the ground of the game, he'd be getting a lot more scaling for it. A tackle, a game-saving tackle, or a goal, or whatever it may be, would be worth a lot more. So unfortunately, he's still performing well. It's just that he needs a bit more support, I think. He needs LDU to lift. He needs Wardlaw. He needs the midfield mix as a whole. He's not going to be the game saver. He's not going to be the one that turns the game on its head. He's a defensively minded midfielder. You're not going to expect George Hewitt to win you the game if you're a Carlton. You're not going to expect Will Setterfield to win you the game if you're an Essendon supporter. That's what Powell is. So I'm not going to be one to throw him out whilst he's still got this great role, Tom Powell, and he's still and his scoring isn't the worst either. It's not like you're getting, occasionally Massimo D'Ambrosio type scores, for example. He's still giving you a fairly decent average, good time on ground, good CBAs. He's finding the pill, 20 touches here, 26 touches, 14, 29. So he's getting the role going.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is that even if he ends up being a trade, North Melbourne have a decent. Jeez, I love you so much. That's pretty funny.
Some cats are looking good and mature. Give me a game. I can do better than. Who can I do better than? Give me a name. Who do you reckon I could do better than?
The role's there. We've got duds. I know I've got Dempsey and a few other players who I'm going to get rid of before Tom Powell. That's effectively it in the forward line. Jonas, I don't want this to talk about the North Melbourne kind of show, but it's tricky. Outside of McDonald, there really isn't that many guys who were available with with our early picks who are actually good. Top. Give me last year. Who was the best key forward? Oh well, there was no one. The year before that, who was the best key forward in the top 15? There was no one. Logan McDonald, cool. But, it's not great. Oh, sorry, Velo. Sorry, mate. Don't worry about that.
Wait, what? Did we have two live streams?
Yeah, you made one, and then I made one at, the same time. And then I think some people got stuck in the other one. So that's why they've jumped across here. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Cadman, who went number one. But for us to get Sheasel and Wardlaw, we had to give up Cadman. So... yeah, exactly. That's probably the only one really. It's tough. It's tough.
It's a little bit tough, man. Yes, Harry. You're a wizard, Harry.
I also tipped the Dons.
You're a wizard, mate. You're a wizard. I love this one from Legend. I love this one. Draper done his best Michael Jordan logo impression on the ground horizontally. It's rather than Air Jordan. This is Floor Draper. He was all over the grass. Oh, oi, Maltesing, mate. Much love. Thank you very much. Anzac Day Clash should be a cracker. I'm not going to say those last two words. Even though technically I would be reading it, but I don't want to dare have an Essendon supporter say.
I'll say go Pies. That's all right.
Yeah, you can say that. Correct.
Yeah.
Not this week of all weeks. We're going to, mate, they've turned it around really well, Collingwood.
Yeah,
that second half.
Collingwood, Joe. They won a grand final. They never stopped being a good team. Just kind of hard with Murphy being out. And a lot of it's fixture as well. If you come in and start playing easier teams, that's kind of what happens. I think this game was relatively close for a while. Or maybe not relatively close looking at that score.
No, they were getting pummeled early on.
Closer than what this was.
Yeah. They got out to almost a 40-point lead, Port Adelaide. And then all of a sudden, they wrestle back momentum. And then they sort of work their way in. And it's just classic Port Adelaide at the MCG. Classic Port at the MCG. They almost did a reverse. I know, was it last year that they almost caught up to Carlton? And Carlton almost choked a 50-point lead at halftime or something. So this time it was the other way. This time Port Adelaide couldn't maintain the rage. And it was a long time coming. Nick Dacos finally waking up, realizing that he's a good player and he should play like one. So he just decided to go, I think he had like a 30 disposal second half.
It was very, very good.
Unreal. Meanwhile, Zach Butters started hot and then went cold for about these 2 quarters and then finally woke up again in the fourth. So this was a game of ebbs and flows. And congratulations to the Pies. Massive win. Coming into Anzac Day now in ripping hot form, whilst we sneak over the line thanks to Sammy Draper.
Mate, Joe, whatever works for you, I'm happy. That's all I'm going to say. If you got to win like kicking the other team in the shins. You know what you do? You kick the other team in the shins. That's what you do.
Kick him in the shins. Get them in the bin. Where's the in the bin? Let's put them in the bin. How do you put them in the bin?
You just
Put
press
him in the bin. Get in the bin. All right. Oh, yes, Mike. What is going on with Parrish? I have no idea, Mikey. He had that soft tissue concern, and he just hasn't come back the same. But what I will say in his defense is that his last quarters tend to be his best quarters in these games. He was horrific on Friday night. He couldn't hit a target to save his life, and he was making me look like an absolute moron in terms of. I thought he's improved his jobs, his kicking, kicking efficiency. No, couldn't hit a target to save his life. But thankfully, in the last quarter, he came up and we managed to get over the line. He had some important moments. Oh, Ghost. Much love, mate. Yeah, calm the Dons. We'll see.
Thanks,
May the best team win. I do think you got. I think obviously it's gonna. I can't tell. I honestly have no idea which way this game's gonna go on Anzac Day. It's a coin flip for me at this point. I'm really not sure. Good evening to you, Sim. What am I looking at here? Zach's asking, Big J, does Biggie hold when Dawson is fit?
That's question of the month, isn't it? It's a really tricky one. I hope so. I hope so is the right question. It's a big wait and see. I've spoken about how good of a player I thought he was. We saw that last week, how good of a player he was. But yeah, all I can say is bloody Clarko. I don't think Clarko is one to drop players too early, which is probably the thing that's holding us back or holding his spot. The first game, he looked good. The second game, he didn't look good. Hopefully there's some takeaways and they say, okay, cool. Why didn't he look so good in this game? That kind of thing.
For me, more than just if Dawson comes back. I mean, there was the role change. Comben was moved forward in this game.
Yep.
Now, that means that is a card that can be played. He's obviously played forward before this preseason where he was training in the back line, but he traditionally is a forward. And in this game, he was used as that swingman. Things weren't working. They had to change something, and they moved him forward.
Yep.
This for me, more than just the Dawson if he comes back, that to me tells me that he's not playing for the now, obviously. You got to develop these players, and there's going to be pain before there's gain. And, for me, I think that to me seems that Larkey needs assistance. Just, as amazing as Nick Larkey is, and he is amazing, he really is. He will win a Coleman one day. There's no doubt about it. I've said this many times.
If
he's a wonderful player. Yes, correct. So, but he needs assistance. He can't be double and triple teamed all the time. That's not going to help him, and it's not going to help the team. So you need another tall, and CCJ is out, obviously. So
he can't be the tall we need anyway.
Yeah. So if Comben's playing forward, that to me seems that Biggie Nguyen can still hold his spot in the team, even with a Dawson coming back, because you need all these players to play, and you can use Comben as he can use his Comben as a swingman. Now, Biggie might not have looked amazing on the day, but you could say the same about almost all of North Melbourne on the day. How many players, objectively speaking, how many players in the North Melbourne team on Sunday could walk away with their head held high?
Yeah, not that many. It's a good point you make. The only thing I would counter argument to it is Comben's basically played all pre-season in the position. I don't know what Clarko was thinking about moving him forward. Yes, he's a good forward, whatever. But I just don't know what he was thinking in putting him forward. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think he plays this week. Should make us a little bit of money. We just don't want him to end up like a Sexton, which is probably the big thing at the moment.
No. Anything like Sexton, that would be horrific if that was the case.
I mean, Comben is not getting traded, or Comben's not losing his spot. But you just don't want him to end up in the dodgy position.
Yep, correct. Hectic Lebo, how are you, Habibi?
What's
Good
up?
evening. Scored 20-34. Very impressive. My
Nice.
trades were going to be
That would have been my
MC
score.
Williams to Walsh Garcia, but I was 7.4k short. Is it worth using my last boost to get Walsh?
No, but I would say it's worth getting your last boost. So we can do this another way. It's not worth getting your last boost to get Walsh, but it could potentially be worth using your last boost to upgrade the team and grab rookies at the same time. That might be what you can say to yourself. Cool. I want to get 2 rookies in, and I want to get another player in that I want to keep as a keeper. Cool. Then it kind of works out for you. I think that's a good way to kind of make it work out for you. Like, you're not spending a trade to get Walsh, but you're getting two guys who are going to make money, and then grab a primo keeper in your team. So if that's going to be Walsh, that could be Walsh. You could downgrade somewhere else and grab a Petrarca, for example, who's playing midfield versus Richmond. Like, yeah, Walsh looks good on paper. We just have to wait and see what happens, really.
Yeah, I mean, Walsh is unreal. I mean, Walsh was the finals player he was the player of the finals series last year, and he was on everyone's radar in the preseason because of the price and the value, especially if he maintains that form that he played in the finals with, and if he carries that into the regular season, then that would have been unbelievable. But no one was really willing to go there because of the back issue in the preseason, plus the early buy. But he's now back, and he's gone a 166 and a 130. Now then, those points, if you haven't got him in your team, those points are gone. All right? You're not going to get 166, and you're not going to get that 130. From now on, it's what is he going to score you from here on out? And is he going to give you 166 every week? He obviously won't. How many times is he going to give that to you? I don't know. It wasn't a loss against Adelaide, so that was already an anomaly there. Because Carlton should never be losing to Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. So that, to me, screams anomaly. And then he's got a 130 against the Giants, who have been pretty bad these last couple of weeks. You just have to look at Tom Green, for example, and that tells you all you need to know about GWS in the last few weeks. He's obviously going to be a great pick, Sammy Walsh. He's obviously a gun. He's obviously a star. But Chera's coming back next week. And I sort of flagged this in a previous episode. They haven't played together enough for me to be able to accurately say just how much Chera in the side is going to affect Sam Walsh. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like. Is he still going to get 83% CBAs or 70% CBAs with Chera in the team? Not entirely sure if that's going to persist or not, because Chera can play on the ball. If we look up Chera, I don't know I can't say off the top of my head what his average percentage is like when it comes to center bounces in his time he normally goes, so far this year he's averaged 67. And then last year, he's averaged 57 and 55. So he gets some center bounces, and those are some center bounces that he's going to eat into Walsh as well. Now, Walsh is a bit of more of an outside type player, which might not necessarily affect him as much, but I don't think it's a bad selection. Obviously, he's got value, and he's going to fly up, low break even, etc., etc. But is he going to be top 8 is the question. Do you have more faith in him over someone like a Petrarca who's done it before and finished as a top 8? The value is obviously really good.
Yeah, that's kind of what Travis was saying here. Walsh is the better midfielder, but Chera can only play, and that's kind of the statement to say about Matt Crouch and Dawson as well. Is that Dawson's a better player, but Matt Crouch can only play midfield, and that was kind of the argument with picking Wines at the start of the season was, well, Wines can only play midfield. That was kind of shut down a little bit throughout the season, and hence his poorer scoring. But yeah, something to really consider. That I've brought in Walsh because he's cheap and he could end up being a keeper. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, he should be at that price. You're obviously picking him to be a keeper.
Well, I mean, like scoring wise is more the
Yeah.
aspect of being a keeper or not. If he plays all the season, like it's fantastic. So I could go
Correct.
Houston. I could bring in Houston, Joe.
You could bring in Houston. I reckon Houston's going to have another good game this week. I think he's back at home.
I think so as well. I
And
kind
he's
of
got
flagged
some
in
killer.
my team review video. Joe, if you haven't already, don't skip off this. But Joe's team review's out for this week. Mine
Yes.
is currently in the works. I've made it. I'm just editing. We'll be out after this. So stay tuned for that. Should be a lot of fun.
Stay tuned, fellas. Stay tuned. And tomorrow, because it's going to be a short week, we're going to be recording. Everything's going to have to be recorded tomorrow night. So, yeah, a lot of videos to do. So please make sure that notification bell is hit because we're just straight off the press, making it rain videos tomorrow. So yes, not against Walsh, obviously, given the value and the potential at that price is ridiculous.
Yes.
And
a
lot of people are going with you as well. So you're going to be also protected by the numbers. I sort of touched on it in my video, but if I just come back here and type in Walsh, a lot of people are trading in Sammy Walsh this week. Let me just see. There you go. 22,132 people trading in Sammy Walsh. He was already in 13%. He was already in 13 plus the 18.9. He's going to be in over 30% of teams as of this current Monday night. So, yeah, a lot of people jumping on big Sammy Walsh. Good evening to you, Simmy boy. Zach, Williams injury update. All I know of Williams' injury update is that apparently when Cripps was interviewed after the game, he said that he's pulled up well, and that he's going to be more than likely okay to play this coming week. What else is there about Sammy Walsh? Not Sammy Walsh, sorry, about Williams. I don't think there's anything more outside of what Cripps said on 3AW football. I think that's the only bit of information that we've got. It was an Achilles concern. He copped the knock to the Achilles, and Cripps says that he's pulled up okay. It's not quite as bad as what they initially thought it was going to be. For me, though, I'm a little bit concerned because when you've already got someone who's had Achilles problems in the past, he hasn't been, a beacon of health, Zach Williams. So for me, I think there's a bit too much concern, and I'm probably going to be trading him out. He's at low score is going to be in his 3-round average for the next 3 weeks. So I'm not a fan of what I've heard from the Williams thing.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. Similar to a Massimo, both have kind of ended up being, I would think, close to around the max price that they were. So, yeah, it's a good time to jump off when, Zach Williams plus a Dempsey or a Sharp ends up being a really good player. You could go a lot worse.
Yeah, Velo Vosti said it was just a precaution as they didn't want to risk him. Z-Will had his Achilles stood on. Yeah, of course. When you got players like him who have had Achilles problems in the past, you'd be not even just stupid. You would be downright negligent if you didn't take a precautionary approach, and you might be opening yourself up to potential lawsuit in the future. Like, wait, I've had the freaking Achilles problem. Why are you playing me? So,
well, that was kind of what we saw with McKercher a few weeks ago as well when he got subbed off. Right, like young kid comes in, takes the heavy knock early in the game. Imagine if he kept playing and there were, some concerns with the ribs. You can't do scans then and there on the day. So, cool. Do we let him keep playing? He's not like an established player who's had a lot of game time and a mature body. Risk worse reward for a team there as well.
Oh, Harry, major dilemma in my team. Do I cop Stewart 0 or trade? Don't trade out Stewart.
The thing is, right, when we had JD on to talk about the buy rounds, the early buy rounds, some strategies and what not to do with there, one of the points we made was if a player is going to be out for a week, are we going to trade them? Cool, they get a 1 week injury, they're back the next week. Do we trade? We all said no. We said, no, not going to do it. We're not going to buy swap players, things like that. It's kind of helped us a little bit versus some other content creators who may have done something like that in their teams. The thing with Stewart, though, is do you have cover, which is the big thing. So let's pretend that in Joe's team, Closey was Stewart. He's got Graham or a Closey in there on the bench to be able to cover him, put out a 70 or 80, and you're happy. A lot of people right now, though, potentially just have a Howes. They might have a Marty Hoare and a few other people in there. They might not have
Zach
cover.
Reid.
This week is the perfect week for Stewart to cop a concussion because we can swap like a Dacos to the back line and then, we can make some form of cover with a lot of players. That'd probably be the biggest thing for us, is that your consideration. Don't trade him out because you're going to miss the score. Trade him out just because you've got like some coverage there, or you don't have some coverage.
Yes, he will drop massively in price, but you don't feel the price drop if you continue to hold him. So
If you've got him in your team, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you've got him in your team and you've got him in your team, you don't feel affected at all by the increase in price. The only time you only feel that way is if you're going to trade them out, and you wouldn't trade out someone like Stewart, who is a shoo-in to be a top 6 defender and was on track for a really good score before he got injured. So if you've got Stewart, keep holding on to him. He's very reliable. Does Mass lose his spot now? I don't think Massimo loses his spot, Travis. I think the problem with Mass is that he's a role player, and that's all he was ever going to be. He's never going to be a star. And we knew this because when they were down on rotations last week, they took him off the field and he sat on the bench for over 20 minutes. It's clear as day. Sam Mitchell does not consider him a vital cog in the team. It's clear. It's no secret at this point. So for him, it was very fortunate that he got that 60 before he was subbed out, got a bit of scaling because the Hawks won. But for me, we're getting close to trading him out, because as long as he's going to continue to be faffed around and being dispensable, we need him to just make that extra little bit of money, which he can. His break-even's still 45, which he should make. So hopefully he gets it for us, and then we can trade him out next week for our next upgrade. He's obviously not someone that we're going to hold long-term. It would have been amazing, but clear as day, Sam Mitchell does not rate him as a very important person.
Yeah, they've got better players running off the halfback, like Weddle and that kind of thing. If he was a Weddle and things like that, cool. Okay, I think stuff would be a bit different, but yeah.
Yep, exactly. Well done, Flag Pirate. Congratulations on the rise. Very impressive. Jimmy, Walsh or Nakos?
Jimmy.
Is Walsh a top 8 mid? How is he looking like when Chera returns? Wow.
We kind of covered a bit of this at the moment, didn't we?
We kind of covered that.
Yeah.
If you don't have
right. I think
Nakos.
we're running through some old questions anyway. So,
bro.
Yeah. We've got a lot of questions ahead of this, Joe.
You need Nakos, bro. You need him. He's a top 8. He's top 6 defender.
He should at least be D6, I think is the question. Is the statement we're going to make. He should at least be D6, so he should be in your team.
Oh, at least. Come on. This guy, it looks like he might have turned the corner at last in that second half. 30 disposals in a half. He could be back. Him and the Pies could be back. So you absolutely need Dacos in your team, I think. McAuliffe or Biggie, asks Harren. Harry. What? I read Harry and Freeman and just merged the beginning of Harry and the end of Freeman to Harren.
Oi. McAuliffe, I think we wait for team sheets, Harry. I think that's probably the big thing.
Correct. Burners 77. Is this supposed to be Nazaya Wanganeen Miller?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Is he a trade out? Been averaging mid-90s, or is he a hold?
I think it's a wait and see, and I think you fill out the rest of your team before you look at trading Nazaya. To be honest, I think there's a lot of other players who are doing a lot worse, especially a Massimo and a Williams and stuff. And, you can keep Nazire as a keep till the buys type of player at a minimum. I don't think anything's super changed at the Saints, but this is not the time to start trading out guys who are 500k. Like, finish, get rid of all the duds from your team, get rid of all the mid prices, then you can look to trade him around the buys, because the buys are basically free trade outs for a lot of these players. So, yeah.
And you also can't forget, I mentioned this a couple of times now, the Saints have been very hard done by the AFL. 3 games in 11 days is very hard. It's very hard. Three games in 11 days in this ridiculous, the demand. And there was travel involved as well. And they were up against the Dogs, who were absolutely getting decimated in the media, and all the talk about, and we were helping as well, talking about Bevo being a shithead and being unable to coach and things like that. So they were under a lot of pressure, the Dogs, and the Saints, you saw it. They got torched. Steele had his worst game by far for the season. You also had a very shit one from Marshall. Nazire struggled in this week. So this was just an anomaly. I wouldn't be quick to trade him out. He's still giving you decent scores. 93, 114, 91, a 120, a 101. You know what I mean? Like, you've got bigger fish to fry, Burners, than Nazire, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So glad I held Geordie Dawson. Yeah. Well, is it a coincidence? Is it purely coincidence that the 1 week that Matt Crouch is suspended, all of a sudden Jordan Dawson remembers, I am a professional footballer and I am a superstar of the competition?
Yeah, it's that's what I can say.
It just makes no sense.
Next comment.
And then Matt Crouch comes back this week. I'd wait. I know he looked unreal. All right. But then again, everyone looks unreal playing the Bombers. We see it every time, right? But you got to wait. You've got to wait, I think, to see whether or not Crouch back in the team does affect him. Because it's actually ridiculous how the 1 week he's out, all of a sudden Dawson pops off. Now, I know he's got North Melbourne this week, and they ran 16th against mids. But, Freo, he only scored a 68. Melbourne a 99, Carlton a 64. And this was a substantially weakened Carlton team as well in a win. And he scored 64 only. You know what I mean? So they're playing at Ballarat. What did he do last time? 102, 145, 134 the last time you guys played at Ballarat. But at that point, there was no Matt Crouch. So I feel like you got to wait and see 1 week how he goes with Matt Crouch. 73 break even. Even if he goes 105, he's only going to go up about 15K. So it's not like, he'd still have lost 100,000. So it's not like the ship's going to sail.
Yeah.
If you wait a week, just calm it down, wait a week and see how he goes with Crouch, I think.
Yeah.
Skits. What do we think of Green this week? With so many outs in his team, I'm thinking of sidewaysing Green this week to Petrarca. Williams, Dempsey, and Green out for Petrarca, Dawson, and McAuliffe.
Now, I was talking before about not sidewaysing Primos. This is one of the times when I think it would be okay because you get another player into your team. You get rid of Williams, you get rid of Dempsey, your team starts to get upgraded. I assume you've already got Garcia, Skits. I think it was you that had told Joe to get Garcia in last week. I would probably do the trade. I would be happy with this trade, I think. Just be careful because Dawson plays differently with Crouch in the team, as Joe had said. Green, I think, is in a bit of trouble. I don't know what's up. Grab Petrarca versus Richmond. He's going to go massive. And then you're still upgrading the team. This is what boosts are made for. Unfortunately, Joe used them on James Jordan, and so did I, to bring him in and out of our team and do stupid things. So, yeah. But this is what it's perfectly used for.
I wouldn't do the trade. For me, I don't want I don't want to. I've already sort of sideways someone in the ruck line. So I've sort of sideways Grundy to Marshall, okay, already. And by using this trade and doing this upgrade, right, by improving the quality of the premium on my team, I'm now in a situation where I've used more trades than others whilst not having added an extra premium on the field. So there are people who have 16 premiums. I'm walking in with 15. There is something to be said about having more premiums than not. The more premiums you have on the
But he's
field,
getting another premium.
nah, I think
getting another
sideways in green to Petrarca, 591, he's paying extra. He's paying up.
He gets
to get
Dawson.
Petrarca.
He's upgrading his team. He's going out of this trade. He's getting one less premium. One less rookie on field, or one less mid-price on field.
He can do his trade of Williams and Dempsey without trading Green out.
Yeah, but Green's going to tank, and Petrarca's going to score like 200 this week. I have no trouble with the trade.
But we're not losing out. Okay, fine. Tom Green, for those of us, if once you have him in your team, you have him as an asset that you're looking to hold. If you're gonna sell him, then yes, you're gonna feel the loss. You've paid 30,000 more for him, and now you're gonna get less out of that transaction. But as long as you're holding him, you're not feeling the loss in cash. What you're just feeling is the annoyance of having a poorer score on field than he otherwise would have been scoring. But in terms of the money, you are not losing money by owning him.
It's the points on field, though. It's not necessarily.
It's just the point.
Yeah.
But you're backing in him. You're backing him in to bounce back is the thing. This is Tom Green we're talking about. It is surprising / shocking to the point of why is he doing this? Why is this happening? He's still got 80% CBAs. He's still got the 86% time on ground. He's giving away more free kicks than before, though. He's gave away 3.
That doesn't justify 80 SuperCoach.
1, 3. His disposal efficiency. He's getting some tackles. He had the 5 tackles.
30 touches and scored at 80. Why? Yeah. Why is the problem?
It is bizarre to me.
Disposal efficiency, maybe?
He's just 70%, 71. It's not even that bad. I mean, here he had 59%.
He had 9 clangers, which probably doesn't help.
Yeah, so clangering it up is obviously no good. Disposal efficiency can be cleaned up, but the role is still there. The time on ground is still there. He's finding the pill still. I think, I don't know. I personally think Tom Green is going to bounce back at a point in time where you don't see it coming. It will come in a day at a time, and it will kill you.
I 100% would come in and do the trade if I had the spare boost. No questions asked at all. You can always get Tom Green later on at 500k as an upgrade on field. It doesn't cost you
500k.
Bro, his break even's 183.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's playing at home.
Yeah, but check out his projected score for the next few games.
Yeah, he's not gonna score 95 and 105 and 107.
How do you know? The guy can't even score 100. How's he gonna not score that?
We'll revisit this after the Essendon game, and we'll see if he scores 107 against Essendon. If he scores 100, mark it, guys. 99 of you in the chat right now. I want you to make a note. We're going to come back after the Essendon game, and we're going to see if Tom Green scores 107 against the Bombers. We'll see. I'm pretty sure he's going to bounce back.
There you go. Get him a couple of weeks later at 530k.
Well, you're using a trade to do so, though.
Doesn't
matter. You're sidewaysing.
Forget about it.
You're using a trade. You're using a boost. It's not going to happen.
Joe's just jealous. He's got no boost left. That's why. He's like, why use the boost? Just upgrade my team.
Yeah, you use the boost to upgrade the team. Don't use boost for sideways.
He's getting a better player.
Is what? Nah. Tom Green is among a handful of the best players in the league. O'Sullivan would have been nice.
Yep.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he's just not working out.
Yep. The Shelley Bean Fife to Meritt next week.
Yep. Seems pretty good to me.
Very nice. Zach, out of curiosity, when did North Melbourne last make the 8?
Oh, 2016, I think it was. I know 2018 we were like 9th. But yeah, I think it was 2016, Zach.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fife could be a forward keeper. I'd wait on him. Fair enough. Everyone liked the live. Cheers, Harry.
Thanks,
much
Harry.
appreciated. Yeah, Tom Powell, CBA still at 76%, 100%. Rookie coach, AFL, how's it going? Hope you both had a good weekend. I did. I got to watch my boys win on Friday, and then I was at a wedding yesterday, so I'm very happy. Looking at trading in Walsh and Garcia for Howes and Sharp. Decent trades. Should I boost for Sexton to McAuliffe? I think Sexton's dead as a selection.
I would wait. I would wait until team sheets. Joe says Sexton's dead. I think he's dead too, but he was named travelling emergency last week and has had a couple of good VFL games. So if someone's missing out even in the forward line, potentially he's one that comes back in. All I'm looking at, so I have the same mindset with Sexton as I did with Sam Berry. -6 break even. So if he does anything on field, he's going to make us money. That's why I'm a little bit more hesitant to get rid of him. But if the kick is completely dead, then of course you can swap him out. So I wouldn't be culling him as yet. But if McAuliffe was like 100, if he was a Graham and we had to have him, 100% do the swap, no worries. But McAuliffe has scored like a 30 and a 40. He's not looking that good, man.
Exactly. Exactly. If it was Glahisi, you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
But you're boosting in Kane McAuliffe,
who 30 average player,
and his job security isn't necessarily rock solid either. There's a little bit of faith involved with Kane McAuliffe and asking around and talking to some Richmond supporters about what they think of Kane McAuliffe's chances. You know what I mean? So there are players worth boosting, but Kane McAuliffe, I don't think is one of them.
Yeah. As Lagpie says, yes, I think Sexton can find his way. I don't think it will be off halfback. He might get stuck in the forward line, but he should play again.
Sam Darcy's still good.
I think he's good. His DT ratio was decent. So he got the ball. It just wasn't used very well. If he cleaned up his efficiency in the game, I think he would have scored a lot more for us in SuperCoach. So he scored 70 DT, 50 or 49 SuperCoach. So could have done a lot better. One of the few games as well where he didn't win a lot of ruck contests because I think Tim English just dominated in the ruck. Or maybe there wasn't as many as what it was. And he didn't score more than one goal. So this is probably like his down game. The only problem with Darcy is I just think the cash gen kind of hurts a little bit now. But it is what it is.
It was Aaron Norton's game to shine in this one.
Yeah.
And when you're playing mostly as a forward, you're always just going to go to the player with the hot hand. And it was clear that the player with the hot hand was Aaron Norton in that game. There was no stopping him. I think he kicked like 6 goals. So when Norton's on fire, you just got to keep passing it to Norton. So I think there's going to be a decent matchup for him this week. Rory Lobb was involved in a lot of marks around the ground. Probably would have been marks that he himself would have taken. That's just to my eye. And I mean, just between last week and this week, his marks literally halved between the Essendon game and the St Kilda game. So, Rory Lobb. Oh, there you go. Hopefully, Lobb does get dropped. Would be amazing. Lobb is a knob. He's supposed to be playing VFL. He himself knows it. Him and his wife made that song about him playing VFL, right? So, If Kamara comes back, then Lob gets dropped, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So that should be fine.
Captain Flash is asking, we'll come back to the other questions. Is it possible to drop below 100? No, it is not. Sellers has made, I think he's scored 7 points in 2 games, Joe. Have you ever seen that? Tyler Sellers, 7 points in 2 games. I'm very sure. I'm pretty sure with that. Let me quickly check.
Honestly, give me a game.
Here's a game. So he scored 9 points in 2 games. 9 points. I'm glad no one went early on it. But no, you can't go under. Rookie price is the bargain basement price. I remember when we had Frederick from Freo a couple of years ago, and he had scored like 10 points and 15 points, and I think he was a 123k rookie that came flopped down to a 102k, and that was it. So yeah. But yeah, not a great start to this. You can only get better, hopefully.
How many games has Rory Lobb played?
Let me see. We'll go through some more questions while Joe's doing that.
Because I want to see
how you doing. Thank you.
I just want to see how many games Rory Lobb has played. Because if he gets to if he's at 100 for the Dogs, they can get some father sons going.
No, I don't think he's close. He only started with them 2 years ago.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Has he played 100 games for anyone?
No. I don't think so.
No games. He's 30 years old.
No, he has.
74.
Sorry. Yep. Because he played for GWS before. I forgot about that. Yep.
It's pretty funny.
Where are we up to? Blah, 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 blah. Let's go.
Rodney saying not too many midfielders averaging 115 plus. Dawson must be a consideration.
Yeah, I believe
consider him. Yeah, consider him.
It just depends. Sorry, Joe, keep going.
I was going to say you can consider him, and consider him even more next week after you see how he plays with Crouch.
Yeah, that's probably the big thing.
We kicked 2, then they kicked 9 in a row. No one stood up.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Oh, this is all this talk about.
Yeah, North Melbourne talk.
Bizarre selling Sharp this week over Mass/Dempsey and Cadman. Rate it. Yeah. I mean, Sharp. Yes. I'm trading out Sharp as well this week, as you can see.
Yeah. I think you can keep Sharp. But the beautiful thing is that he does make you 15k over a Garcia to bring into your team versus the other guys that still have some money to make. That's probably the big thing. I've seen some posts of people saying potentially can they keep Sharp for a much longer time. So we'll wait and see. This week's probably a big week in terms of cash gen. So for him, he has a poor game, get rid of him. If not, you can hold him probably a bit longer. But for me, it was the only way I could make some trades this week. So he has to go.
Yeah. Jamon, bringing Walsh or Houston? Houston against Saints could go huge, seeing what Dale did to them.
Well, that's why I've just brought in Houston into my team. I did make my trade review video saying, hey, look, I want Sam Walsh in there, but finishing off my defense at this point in time feels good. All my money now goes into the forward and the midfield. So, yeah, he could be the one for me.
Look at this. He hasn't gone under 100 all season, which has always been his knock. Over the years, his knock has been that his fluctuations in scoring is wild. So far, he's maintained great consistency, just chugging away, going over 100. Yes, he's lost a little bit of money along the way, but then he can have the occasional spike game to then get him back up again. So this one, we anticipate that he's going to go good. St Kilda are the worst team when it comes to restricting defensive scores. So could be a good week for Houston. Correct. I agree. Plus, I think he's playing at home as well.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's at home. Love it. Love to see it. So, yeah, you could absolutely go with Houston for sure. Coming on number 1. Jonathan will probably drink Tasmania. Is Shea Bolton worth a look? Been averaging pretty well over the last 3 games and for 550Ks. What do you guys think?
I think he's definitely worth a look as we start to upgrade our forward lines. Him and Zorko. There's a lot of people asking about Zorko at the moment, especially Trav here. I'll cover that at the same time. Thanks, Trav, for the cash. These two players, maybe Zorko not as much, but these two players are going to be around the same price for the rest of the season, which means it's a great time to try and pick up these players. Shea Bolton has had 3 amazing games. We know what he can do from the middle. As it shows there, burst from the pack, runs forward, that's it. Not so much here, but still a bit of burst pack from the midfield. It's just his role, as Dusty Martin and a few other players go. He get older. Shea Bolton's the one to jump in and start carrying them to the next premiership, let's say. So, Shea Bolton, I think, could definitely be top 6 forward for a lot of us. Should stay around the 500 to 600K mark. I don't think he might have a game or two when he goes back up and then drops back down again afterwards. So, yeah, it's a good pick. I think Zorko and him definitely top 6 at the moment. The top 6, I think, are looking like, who is it? Flanders, Heaney, Mackay, Hogan's still in there as well, and then a couple of other players. And you would think the key forwards maybe can't keep it up the whole season. So it's these kind of players who can have massive spike games. I mean, you'd be happy with a 133 or 129 from a forward.
Of course.
Yeah,
ultimately as well,
he's not going to keep every game.
No, 3 and 4. But I love it that his time on ground is really good. I love it that his fitness base is really impressive, and because he's so electric and dynamic, he can kick his goals in a number of different ways. So even if he's not, here for example, getting a lot of CBAs, and he's resting forward more, he's such a tough matchup. And he's still capable of kicking 4 goals on your head. So the concern would be the occasional, for example, like this game here against Carlton, 18 touches, right? That's a good game. 61% disposal efficiency was better than his next 2. Had the 3 tackles, took some 4 marks, but he gave away some free kicks, doesn't kick any goals, has a lot of CBAs, and still only scores a 60. So maybe he was just sort of warming into the season. He started off with a 72 and a 60, but now the engine is well and truly roaring, and he's in ripping nick. So, he's an interesting one. I did flag him as a top 6 forward at the start of the season. I think we both did. So I think there are definitely worse options than him. But at the price, though, the price is the interesting thing, though. Like Bolton's price, what's he priced at now? 556. There is another guy. Who
that could finish off I would be very happy if those 3 players finished off my forward line. If I had Zorko, McRae, and Bolton to finish off my 4, I would be very, very happy.
For sure. Of course you would be. But I think this guy he's 64 break even. And I think, yes, Libba will be back.
Bevo.
But he's got Bevo, correct. So you have no idea. You really have no idea what's going on.
Changing lives.
Joe, I had to update my profile pictures for Joe. It's not rude. Maybe, but bro, Jake Carlisle can eat a bag of what. I despise him. He left the club and he said that we were effed. He can snort some more white powder as much as he wants on that table. He got busted for it. Stuff you, Jake Carlisle. Thank you for nothing.
One thing I will say, guys, just as we go through, the Joe remember Dan Houston. You remember Dan Houston after Siren? Cool. All right. So we've got something special coming out tomorrow. We've got 111 you guys watching. Hopefully you guys are on our Facebook. We did have it as part of the requirements for jumping on our group this year, where you guys can win 3 amazing prizes. Hopefully have fun with that. We have a very special guest coming on tomorrow. We have the #1 current ranked SuperCoacher for this season, Victor. We've got him on. We've got something up on our Facebook at the moment where you guys can post some questions to him. Jump on our Facebook page. I won't post it on Twitter. I'll make it a Facebook exclusive. Check out the post. This is the post. Obviously you can write in the comments down there. Don't do it right now, but after the stream, we'll talk about it a bit later. Make sure you jump on Ask Questions because we'll put out the video tomorrow night. So yeah, should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys can post on there and give us some extra content. So if you want some questions asked, current number 1 ranked player, get on it, guys.
Thank you so much to Victor for making himself available to come and talk with us and all of you guys as well. So, yes, make sure if you have anything to ask Victor, the number 1 super coacher at the moment, ask away on Facebook.
We'll have the video out Wednesday morning. We'll edit it.
Yes. Travis is 16 premiums with 25 trades left. Good.
Good. It's good.
I think
that's
so.
where you should be. I think that the biggest thing, this is kind of, I would say, really good. It's just making sure that you've got the cash gen. That's probably the biggest thing. So if you've got the cash gen going, no dramas there.
Yep. If I need to bring in another rookie other than McAuliffe and already have Garcia, should I go Biggie or Riley Garcia, pending teams?
I would probably go Riley Garcia. I think. So Riley, Harry Gus. You've got. See, in my head, I went Biggie early, so I could get Garcia this week and then get Garcia next week. I don't think Garcia gets dropped. The 89 was fantastic, and he looked good when he played. I think he's an older player, and you know Bevo loves those older players, right? The guys who have had a taste and then come back and things like that. I reckon he's really good, but I was kind of planning to have him next week. Now, if Biggie gets named, you could potentially go Biggie this week and then a downgrade for next week. That would probably be my suggestion.
Yeah, it's there are some players, there's some rookies that it can be okay to go early on, but if you start making it a habit of going early on rookies, you start to run the gauntlet and you start to run the risk of what happens if this rookie doesn't get up the next week.
Or doesn't make
and then
enough
you're
money.
screwed. Exactly. And then you're screwed. So it's okay every now and then. It is a risk. It is a risk. And you have to go into it eyes wide open. West Coast Eagles rule. G'day, mate. How's it going? Thanks for coming on. Did Brendan Brown want to leave North or did you guys dump him? He could have been handy to still be on the list if they were trying to get off the bottom of the ladder.
Oh, I think there were some definite issues with Ben Brown and the COVID hubs, and it was a case of cool, see you later. And to be fair, Ben Brown had one good season at Melbourne and then has barely played in the last 3 years. So, to a certain extent, it probably was the best thing to do. Unfortunately, Stevenson is the guy that we got, and he's been crap. So, another North Melbourne good trade there. But we had got someone else with our pick in the 20s. Could have been a bit better for us.
Yes, very nice. I think we're going to be not against it, Ian. I just sort of flagged that as a pretty good move. I think at this price point. Stewart to Dale. If I hold, I cop a 0. Dale's break even went from 184 to 50 odd for 22k.
Because he came out and scored a 160 or some stupid number.
Some stupid number. I wouldn't do it.
He can, but I wouldn't do it. I think an upgrade on field is better. I don't know what your defense is like, Harry, but surely you can put some players in there.
Yeah, trade the dead rookie in the back line. If it's a Howes or a Hoare or I don't know, like you can trade someone out and then swing Graham or Klahisi into the back line for a week, just to cover the 0.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be trading out. I wouldn't be trading out Stewart.
Yeah, like in Joe's case, I would probably get rid of Hoare, go down to someone else, and then
I don't know. Does Draper really have DPP? Get out of here. Draper has DPP. Does Draper have DPP? He does.
Brad Scott
Big-
did something right.
Big boy Sammy Draper forward ruck. Let's go. He's still looking like shit though, but when he warms up that engine, I'm surprised it hasn't warmed up by now, but my word. Maltesing. Maltesing, you sneaky little bugger. I told Big J this morning, actually, on the way on the drive into work,
Mhm.
my ear still ringing from the wedding that I was at last night, and I'm telling him, I'm like, mate, Jai Caldwell is. I'm thinking about getting Jai Caldwell in. You know, like it's something bizarre. I didn't think anyone else would be crazy enough to consider him. But here he is, Maltesing, the mad lad who I sang for, and then he spits in my face. It's all right. I won't forgive you for that, but it's all right. He's doing all right. He's getting center bounces, and he's been given roles, and he's been very consistent. He's been among our best. And the thing that has been amazing about him is that he is an absolute tackling machine. So tackles, he had 10 tackles last week, 4, 8, 6, 4, 7. He's been great.
He looks good.
He
The
does
thing
look very
with Caldwell and Durham as well is that they're basically the reason why Zach Meritt has scored poorly in the last couple of weeks is because there was a post that had come out from the team and from Zach Meritt, I think, basically saying, look, we need to blood these young kids. We need to play them. I'm happy to move forward if it means that, you know, they can actually score a bit more. So, yeah, something to watch over the next couple of weeks. But guys like Caldwell, he's been looking good. And you play him as they come, really. So 60% for Zach Meritt this week. It's a big loss from last week.
Yep. But he had 69% the week before, and he still scored like crazy. So,
Of course.
Zach Meritt is capable of scoring from anywhere as long as we has opportunity. But, yeah, the midfield mix, I just can't see Setago coming back in. Now that we've got Parrish is in, Durham been given that responsibility in the midfield now. Caldwell has had some 3 significant weeks of increased midfield time. I just don't see how Setters gets back into this midfield mix. The way it's going, I think we've now got some speed on the ball with the dynamic duo of Durham and Caldwell feeding the ball out to a Zach Meritt type. And Caldwell's kicking efficiency has been pretty decent as well. So I think it's this midfield mix that has been the big part of our turnaround this season. And it's no surprise that when we got destroyed out of the midfield by Port Adelaide, that was the week where Sammy Durham was out with his concussion.
Yep.
And he provides a lot of that grunt work and burst out of the middle. So no surprise, he came out and then our team got destroyed. We had Darcy Parish there, Archie Perkins as his hammy in that game. So we've got some names to come back. I can't be 100% sure what Brad Scott ends up deciding is going to be the final mix. As you can see, we still have Hobbs. We still have Stringer, Perkins to come back. There's a bunch of players that we're going to have going through there. And I can't be sure that Jai Caldwell is going to continue getting those CBAs, unfortunately. As much as I would love to, he could end up to this sort of percentage. And then Dylan Shield played a half of VFL last week, and he played really well. He was best on ground in the VFL last week. I only played for the first half. So who knows if Shield comes back as well. So I can't, in good conscience, tell you guys to go in on either Durham or Caldwell because of the uncertainty about our best midfield mix. I'm sorry, guys. If I had some certainty, I'd go there as well. But I have no certainty over what's going to happen because as you can see, we were running Archie Perkins through the midfield a lot as well, and then he does his hammy in this game. So
yeah,
we're trying to groom Archie to be the next Jake Stringer because Stringer's not going to be around forever. We need that burst type
might
player.
not be around next year.
Might not be around next year, but we're going with. So yeah, we're going with Archie. He gets injured, gives increased opportunity to Caldwell to all of a sudden bump up his CBAs. So yeah, I can't say go for it. If you want to risk it, because there is a risk. Obviously, they're playing really well at the moment. Does Brad Scott persist? I hope he does because it makes us look better. But if he doesn't, then obviously the pick goes to shit. So be aware. There is a risk attached. Dim. Nervous this week. No more hiding. Sub 20 scores through best 18. Yeah.
Yep, and that's the big thing, and that's why we set ourselves up with the rookies, and we start to get rid of some of these players on field. This week onwards, guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again, all about getting rid of the dead rookies. You can bring in a rookie, but it's always two traded out, try and get a primo with every trade that you're doing from now on, because I know a few of us are really going to struggle.
Oscar Reid, why is everyone going for McAuliffe over Biggie or Garcia? Is it because everyone already has the other two? Because his average is only 37, and surely he won't make as much cash as the others.
Yes, I think that's basically it, because everyone's already got the other two. Like, a lot of people went early on Biggie, and a lot of people are looking to double downgrade this week and maybe go up one. McAuliffe really is the only option. So I think that's really what it is.
See you, boy. Thanks for coming on, mate, for the first time. I don't think I've ever seen you before. Houston's the most underrated player in the league. Unbelievable kicking. Yes, I know.
And they use him for everything. If St Kilda this week cannot hit goals, Houston 400. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. Thoughts on the Zorko pick?
I like it. He's going to be a top 6.
Yeah, he probably will be.
I think we've got a couple of weeks of Houston being cheaper, and then that's it. Sorry, not Houston, Zorko being a bit cheaper. Some people could have got him at 440k. Would have been great. Now, probably not as much, but he's going to be a top 6 forward. So at some point, you're going to have him.
Yeah, I think so. The age and the injury history does scare me, but he's got that acupuncture guru just working some magic on him, I think. So
had the Elliot Yeo.
Well, Elliot Yeo went to Qatar, and he's come back a different man entirely. So
Zorko just went to Brisbane. He went to Las Vegas.
He went to Vegas, baby. All right, let's keep going. To Ethan Phillips got 17 marks in the VFL.
Yep.
And 15 2 weeks ago. Do you think he could get a call up, or am I on too much Kopi? I still have him, unfortunately.
I think he's going to be. There's going to be a point where he has to play, right? They brought him into their team for a reason as coverage. Something's going to happen down back. All you need is like one injury, and then Blammo who's inside. So I think we're waiting a little bit for that. Hawks' backline does seem to be a bit more settled, and you've got a couple of tools. And then a Sicily is there as well. So if you decide maybe we need to have a third or someone gets injured, cool. But I think we're waiting for that at the moment.
Yep. Jonas, 51 big boy points for Rowell Marshmallow. How's the trade working out, Joe? Look, he gave me a 120 last week. And he gave me a 51 this week. So look, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Obviously, it hasn't been great thus far. I'm gonna wear that. Obviously, got some egg on my face, but I like eggs, and I'd much rather have eggs on my face than shit. So we'll take it and we move on. I don't think Meek has performed anywhere near as well as you would have hoped he was going to score for you either. So.
Yes.
Look, maybe Meek ended up being a better pick in hindsight, but for me, I went with someone who's proven. I went with someone who has the history and who ended the season on a 150 average in his last 4 games. If it hasn't worked out for now, it is what it is. But I'm playing the long game, and I should have started Sherry.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the takeaway for both of us, Joe. Cherry would have been fantastic and could have banked 40 or 80k.
Sherry was the ticket, mate. Sherry was the ticket. What do you reckon is an acceptable team value at the moment? Oh, that's a good question.
I think if you look at my team value at the moment, I think I'm 12.6. I think if you're somewhere around 12.4, I think you're doing okay. Anything less than that, you've probably got 1 or 2 less premiums than a lot of people, and you've kept some dead wood on the bench. Which I think ends up hurting you a bit.
Yep. 12.5 for me. It's not too bad. He and his son.
You want to finish at like 14 million is probably the best position you want to finish at. So you've still got some time to go, but you need to jump on these rookies as they come in. It's going to kill you later on.
Yeah, of course, English's price was going to go down. He was the most expensive player in the entire competition. You haven't cracked the code of rocket science and fear of quantum mechanics here, mate. Making not a keeper, Roma is correct.
Yep.
He was just tired. He played 3 games in 11 days. What do you want from him? Jeez,
Terry could play 3 games in 11 days, Joe. What are you talking about?
I can't even run 3 kilometers in 11 days. You expect me to be able to play 3 games in 11 days? Like, come on, bro. Get out of here. Mean. Flag pies. So many people saying Nicky Martin is an unreliable kick. I reckon his kicking is awesome. Agreed. Yes, flag pies. Agreed. Like, people are so quick to just look at the disposal efficiency, the kicking efficiency percentage, and just say, oh, he's a shit kick. If you're kicking sideways and backwards, of course you're going to hit the target. But if you're going for tough kicks in the middle of the ground, or you're trying to pinpoint a lead in a zone, or people are playing man-to-man, of course you're gonna have more turnovers than not, especially when you're given the license and the green light, like Nick Martin is, to take the game on at all costs. And you saw one of the passages of play on Friday. It was amazing how he picked up the ball, had a little bit of a spin, and then kicks his ball a nice dart into the pocket, and Caldwell takes it one-handed. It was high degree difficulty, but it worked out. So sometimes it's not gonna come off, because the higher the difficulty, the increased likely it is of turning the ball over. So I don't necessarily think he is a bad a kick as people are saying. I agree. Look at Sam Flanders on the weekend. I don't think he kicked the ball particularly well either. So it is what it is. I've said that. It is what it is again. Jeez, I've lost. Where are we? Oh my God, where are we? Oh, here we are. Tommy, thoughts on Z, Will, Mass, and Sharp to 2 of Walsh, Dawson, and Petrarca plus Garcia. Thanks, boys. Thank you, Tommy.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. If you can go 2 mid prices down to 3 mid prices down to 2 primos and Garcia, it's nice. I would probably go. If I had to pick, I would probably go Walsh and Petrarca versus Dawson, to be honest. I think Dawson's got a little bit too much risk. He had a massive game this week, but if Crouch is back, his role kind of goes. So there's less risk with the Walsh. Obviously, injury and a bit of Chera coming in, but Walsh is Walsh. So, yeah, he's too good.
Walsh is Walsh. Yeah, I prefer Walsh and Petrarca over Dawson myself. My possible trades: outs, Bonner, Mass, and Dempsey. Ins, Garcia, Walsh, and McRae. Thoughts?
I like
two upgrades there. 2 upgrades, a top 6 forward, a potentially top 8 mid. With Garcia, who's the best rookie bubble boy rookie.
Yep, I like it. Very
nice. Theo in Bolton and Garcia, out Williams and Dempsey.
Sure.
That works. Currently trading Walsh in, but should I consider Dawson, Track, or Meritt over him? I would not Dawson over Walsh. Maybe Track or Meritt.
Yeah, I think Track's better. Meritt is a little bit of a scary watch for me at the moment, just because of the new potential role. I think he has a bit of money left to lose now. I think his break-even's getting a little bit high as well. So someone to watch, but Petrarca's break-even's 150 and he's playing Richmond. Mate, he's going to slap them.
He will. That's why in my trades video, I had him in there. But some of you might, I don't know if any of you noticed, I even have him highlighted with the captaincy captaincy badge.
Did you bring Matt Rowell to your team?
I'm thinking about it because you look at Matt Rowell's next run. Okay,
I told you I should have picked Matt. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. Don't get me started, Joe. Don't get me.
He's
Matt Rowell's a good player. That's it.
He's slightly more expensive than Petrarca. He is slightly more expensive than Petrarca, but his break even is still 105, as opposed to Petrarca's 157. And another thing, more importantly, he is averaging incredibly well for the season, a 130. And look what's to come. West Coast at home. And then he's got Brisbane at the Gabba. And I looked at this. This is a night game. Brisbane at the Gabba at night. Slippery, wet, dewy conditions. Then he's got you guys in Darwin. And Geelong at Darwin. So his next 4 games are unreal. And he's already averaging incredibly well.
Mhm.
A 126 against Sydney in the dry, sunny conditions. A 126 against Wits. Against Wits lost, I think, to Grundy on the day. And yet he still won a 126. His next 4 are bonkers. I don't want to miss it. You guys let me know. I think the next 4 games for Matt Rowell is too good to pass up. What do you guys reckon? I reckon it's worth fading Petrarca one more week and hoping that he doesn't go 157. Hoping that Petrarca hits his projected. Petrarca's projected, I think, was it 115 odd? Let's see. I don't remember off the top of my head. If it just loads up. 112. If he goes 112, he loses another 20.7. Now, he's going to go more than 112. Let's be real. But we can still hopefully get him for a little bit cheaper and then potentially can get him in maybe even next week by trading out a Massimo D'Ambrosio. And I've still got a little bit of cash in the bank, 94K. I reckon it's worthwhile waiting another week on Petrarca and getting in Rowell right before his next 4. He goes bonkers. Whilst everyone is off trying to get Sammy Walsh, I'm going to get Matt Rowell, who's going to shit all over him, I reckon, is my play. He's in 20%. Sammy Walsh is going to be in around 35%. And I think Matt Rowell is going to score more. So I'm sorry, Big J, that I'm talking so much about him because you had him in your team all week, but you bet against him, and I'm now going to get him. So now he's mine. I now have the GOAT, the grass-eating superstar. I have him in my team now.
And Matt Rowell.
There you go. I literally just said it. I just had it now. It's Jake Sharp, right on time.
Yeah. I'm not happy. I feel like wasting a trade in 50K to reverse what I did last week. Just not for fun.
Yes, got a thumbs up from Boy Dot. Velo, Rowell, West Coast and North twice, each to come. Exactly.
Yeah.
Am I crazy or what? Can I put Reid as captain?
I think you can vice captain Reid. I wouldn't put him as captain. When do they play? Okay, maybe you can't vice captain Reid, but yeah, I think
look, against mids, Gold Coast are the second hardest to score against on so far. So yeah. Gold Coast have been a fairly restrictive midfield, but West Coast are not the pushover that they once were. Correct, Jamon. West Coast are now a tough team to play against. Just ask these two. Heck, even Sydney. I was watching that game in Gather Round. They really made Sydney work for it. That was a tough game. And the score was not an accurate reflection of just how close the game was. West Coast have come a very long way in a very short span of time. How does the next round of DPP go? Earn the next 6 games or all 12? Asks Ross. It's for the next 6 games, Ross. You have to play at least 3, and in these next 6.
Yep.
Is Sam Darcy still good? I think he still is, Boy Dot. We answered this question a long time ago, but I think at that point you had drifted out, and then we said goodbye to you, and now you're back. So yeah, I think Sam Darcy is still okay, particularly if Rory Lobb is dropped. So I think Jamara was only gonna miss last week just for the personal reasons. I think he's gonna be back this week. So Jamara comes in. Hopefully that means Rory Lobb gets dropped. And if that's the case, it means that Sam Darcy will be involved in the play around the ground a lot more, I think. So if we just look at Sam Darcy, just from memory, his marks substantially dropped because he wasn't being involved around the play as much. We saw a lot more marks being taken by Rory Lobb. And you can see it. So this is the heat map. And then compared to the week before, yeah, you can see it. So that it was a higher up the ground. The map was a little bit wider. So I'm anticipating Rory Lobb getting dropped, and then that means that an increase from Sam Darcy. Rowell for Brownlow. If I lose SuperCoach, I'm happy to see Rowell do well. That's very nice. That's very nice. I like this comment. I like it. Well done, Ultimate Fitness. Hey, boys, I decided to pick up Walsh with the ability to pick up any primo I wanted to with 173k in the bank. I'm not sure if it's the play, but I'm still holding out on Rowell, Sarong, Meritt, and Track. Well, I think you're going to want to get quite a few of them. I'm gonna have 3 of those, and then next week I might have Track as well. So
Start to load up on your best midfielders. There's a lot of players at the moment who are very, very cheap. Rowell's on the opposite end. Joe's mentioned my team review's about to come out. I should have got Rowell, didn't get Rowell, but whatever. I'm over it. I'll try not to think about it and cry too much. But Rowell, Sarong, Meritt, Track, they're you guys who are going to be top 8s. You need to have as many of these guys as you can have in. Obviously, buy hurts. So, that's something to consider. And then, like what happens with Walsh and whatnot. But yeah, you really need these guys over the next couple of weeks.
Yep, agreed. Is it worth getting Reid in now? Asks Viral Music.
Reid.
Harley Reid. Harley Reid is a keeper. He's a forward primo, and you're getting him in for under 400k. I reckon he's got a decent future. This guy. I reckon he might be a pretty decent pickup.
I think he's going to score you. Like he's going to make you a bit of money. I don't think he's a forward keeper though. I reckon. I don't think forward keeper status. Maybe not, but it's definitely going to make you a bit of money.
He's a forward keeper, bro. If he's playing in the midfield. If he scored a 147, all right, he scored a 147 on Freo, who have 5.
I know he had a good game of football.
Sarong, Brayshaw, Young, and Darcy was back in the side as well.
I know he had a good game. That's not in question. It's more I just don't know if he's going to be keeper status.
He scored a 91 on Sydney. He scored 91 on Sydney.
Players have 3-game rounds of form as well, yeah.
No. Harley Reid is absolutely a keeper, I think, in the forward line. As long as he maintains this midfield role, he is a keeper. I mean, let's look at the CBAs. He feels he belongs now. He has nothing to prove to anyone. What he's done, he should have won that medal. He should have won that medal on the weekend. Look at this. Look at the CBAs. He's averaging 69%.
Yeah,
obviously, first game he played a bit more off halfback in that first game, but he's gone 79, 65, 79, 70. It's like he's been given the role, and as long as he continues to perform and he's flying, look, he might get managed, but Jamon, the thing that you got to remember with Harley Reid is that he has played VFL. He's played against the grown men. It's not like he's been playing under 18s and then come straight to the big league. He's experienced playing against senior men, full grown men, and now he's come, and that's why his transition to the AFL has been as positive as it's been so far. So I think as long as he maintains that role in that midfield mix, and I don't see why he wouldn't, they are performing well and winning largely off the back of his brilliance. His burst away from the center. He's kicking the ball inside 50. He goes forward, rests forward, and takes marks overhead. I honestly think this guy, he's got a future, this Harley Reid kid. I don't know why no one isn't talking about him.
I mean, like, yeah. Oh, I hope a number one pick player has a future. Holy moly.
Mate,
I should really
there are number one picks. There are Harley Reids, and then there are the Jack Watts. They're both number one picks. But
yeah, but I think we haven't had a Jack Watts in a while. Like, I think gone are the days of a Jack Watts. Like, the academy kind of process for players getting signed nullifies a Jack Watts very, very quickly, Joe. Exactly. Not the early 2000s.
As Nemo here says, I love it. We found you, Nemo. We found you. If we're still considering Tom Powell a keeper, then Reid is 100% looking like a keeper. Agreed.
Yeah, I think so.
Freddie, what's so bad with Jack Watts? He was a solid player. Mate, if you're number one draft pick, we need more than just solid. That's why a lot of people are still pretty harshly critical of people like Andy McGrath, for example. Number one draft pick, playing as a lockdown small defender. You want someone like a Harley Reid as a number one draft pick, a Luke Hodge as a number one. You want those types of generational players that can transform your team. Unfortunately, Watts or Shaki, for that matter, Watts over Shaki any day of the week. I love it.
Probably.
I love it. It was beautiful to watch live on Saturday night. Bro, Waterman. Where'd this come from? Waterman. Bro, we need to get Jesse from True Footy on, bro. We need to talk to Jesse again and talk about, what's going on? What's going on?
We can do it.
Aaron Cadman saw the potential to be a bust, especially when Sheaswell was right there. I mean, they have Whitfield.
They needed, I think either way they look at it, Sheasel was right there, yes, but it's not like they need a lot of defense, right? As Joe was saying, Whitfield, Ash, Cummings in the team, Wares in the team, they're not deficient anywhere. And that's what's so good about GWS, is they can pick up anyone, make them a good player, allow them to play their game. We've seen it even with bursts with Harvey Thomas, who definitely has slowed down the last couple of weeks, but like any play can go to GWS and look good now. They just wanted to keep forward. They needed one for the future, and they've got three, and now their forward line's extremely damaging because anyone can kick goals. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that's why you just don't turn down a Harley Reid type of player. I don't know. It is what it is. Yellit GG, thoughts on Jack Bowes? Only one bad game in his system of 35, and that was due to 23% TOG, 410 defense mid DPP. All right, let's have a look at it. What do you think of Jack Bowes, Big J?
I think he's really underrated, and no one has him in their SuperCoach teams.
Correct.
Yeah, that's probably my impact for Jack Bowes. I think there is potential, but who are you picking Jack Bowes over? Probably the big thing.
Why did he not play in the first couple of weeks? Why was he brought on as the sub?
I think he was coming off injuries, right?
Was he?
I think so.
Okay. 23 touches, 2 goals for 90. 23 touches, 76% CBAs, and then 6% CBAs. Yo, have you seen the highs and the lows like this?
Yeah. And it's funny though. Well, not funny, but which player from Geelong got knocked out and then was out of the team for half the game? Yeah. Tom Stewart came out. Jack Bowes went bango. So obviously it didn't happen in the game beforehand, but in that game, some positional changes needed to happen.
Yeah, he's not for me. Yell it. I don't want anyone speculative who has never done it before in a stacked team like Geelong, and I just want my guns and I just want my rookies. I don't want anything speculative like this. You either want someone who's going to be top of their line, or you want someone who's going to make you over 100K. Now, for me, getting Bozen at this point in time at 410,000, if he makes me over 100K, then he's around the mark of being a top 6 to 8, and I don't think he is. So for me, I'm just going to try and stick to getting the players that I know, the players that I want to get in. Same thing. Like you never want to invest in stocks or in companies where you don't know anything about what they do, how they operate. Jack Bowes, to me, just seems like at times he has kick-ins, at other times he has bulk CBAs, and other times he doesn't have bulk CBAs. Like it's for me, he's a no. If you want to take the risk and you want to risk it for the biscuit, then you absolutely can. But for me, there's just too many question marks over a guy of this at this price point. Bevo has deep fried Sanders. Lesson 1: you don't cross the Mad King of the West, Bevo. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's very true. Nobody is really getting Tim Kelly. Why? No one's getting Tim Kelly. It's a very good question, Boy Dot asks. Big
You
J.
know why no one's getting Tim
nobody
Kelly?
getting Tim Kelly?
No one's getting Tim Kelly for the same reason as no one's getting Jack Bowes. When they're not flavor of the month players, or guys that have really done it before, or guys who are going to be top 10s, or guys available in our forward line scoring 100 plus. That's basically the reason why they're not. Because at this point in time, you're locking in all the keepers you can have. Tim Kelly is not a keeper in the mids. Tim Kelly wouldn't be a keeper in the rucks, like with that level of scoring. Tim Kelly is not a keeper on my bench. There's no way. Like, yeah, unfortunately.
It's the thing with SuperCoach is you're not necessarily getting the best players in the league. You're getting the best SuperCoach scorers in your team. And Tim Kelly is one of those players who's better in real life than he is in SuperCoach. He's a very smooth operator. I really rate him highly as a player. And unfortunately, it just doesn't translate to top of line SuperCoach scoring. So that's why you don't get him. Yeah, he's cheaper. But the reason why he's cheaper is because he's not going to give you the output that other people do. You don't have unlimited trades. You want to be really selective, and you want to get the super guns at good prices. You don't just want to get run-of-the-mill premiums for their price. You want to get the guns at a lower price. Fellas, thoughts on Green to Meritt, or hold Green and find someone else to do one down, one up?
I would go. We had this question before, Bryce. If you had gone, what am I saying? If you had a boost, 100% do the trade. But at the moment, it's very important to keep up with your upgrade schedule. So that's what you really need to do. I would be looking at doing that versus sidewaysing a premium right now, because there's so many guys who are cheaper. Like, there's so many guys. If you had a boost, make it happen. Not, don't do
it. What's our thoughts on LDU? Finally turned up after a couple of weeks.
No, don't pick him.
Do we foresee a turnaround, or should I target one up, one down with him, considering there is not many downgrade options?
No, don't bring in LDU. I think there's better options. This could even, if you had no money at all. What's LDU's price? Let me quickly check.
We can open up here. And then we just go to here.
516. If I had LDU and that was the only person I could afford, I would just bring in Jack McRae, and get another primo in the forward line. That's who I would be bringing in this week. It's a no.
107 break even. Adelaide are ranked 17th for mid scores.
I just don't trust the form. To be honest, I think North Melbourne's in a bit of a hole. I can't see any foreseeable bounce back. Yes, he had one good game, but yeah, I have no faith that LDU is going to be a keeper for you. And at this price, at this point in time in the season, He's not like Oliver, who's been a top 10 for majority of the seasons. Like, yeah, he's going to potentially fall down further in cash for you. So I wouldn't do it.
I mean, why did he score so well last year compared to this year? What's
Unfortunately,
changed?
Normal were better.
How were you better? You've
Well, I
gained
mean,
extra
when,
youth,
when,
extra
when you
talent.
look at some of the scoring, like it wasn't that good. There was like some fantastic scoring in there, but yeah, that middle patch, I don't know. Maybe it was a bit of a roll. Maybe your Tom Powell has taken a bit of his possessions and things like that. LDU's not the only sole player in that midfield potentially. That could be partly why. There you go. He's not that inside gun.
He's playing like that. He's playing like that, but he's still got the CBAs. It's clearly a mindset thing. I highly doubt that Clarko is telling him to play that way because it's negatively impacting the team. Unless maybe he's playing bad because Clarko is telling him to play this way, and it's unnatural to him. Maybe, I don't know.
That would be my feeling. I think.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Who are the mid rookies that might debut soon? Feels like we're starting to run out of downgrade options. Well, this week you've got McAuliffe, who's in the mids. Next week, who do we have next week? I know you can. Thankfully, we have DPP, and the DPP can come in handy because it means that you can move someone like a Garcia or a Wilson out of there, or maybe you can move if they're in your forward line. You can move them into your midfield, and then you can get in a Garcia who is a 125k forward for the Bulldogs, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily a midfielder, but if you've got the DPP, if you've got also like a Buku Kamis, you might be able to trade out a defender and then send Kamis into your back line. So the DPP can come in really handy for you to trade in rookies from other lines. It doesn't necessarily have to be the midfield. Is Jackson still a keeper? Jeez, yeah. Viral music. That's the question, isn't it? That's a big question. What's happened with Luke Jackson? Well, we all knew that Luke Jackson was going to be affected with Darcy in the side, but people selected him knowing that Sam Darcy was going to be out for a few weeks, and they were definitely anticipating that they were going to get big scores out of him early, and they did. You got a 113 and a 178, but I don't think he's popped off as much as people hoped. He hasn't gone over 100 in a month. Now, thankfully, he's in the forward line, and the forward line, this type of scoring is top 6, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And that's kind of the big difference too, is it? I think the first couple of weeks were easier opponents, and then you played North Melbourne, and then later that kind of happened. We know what happened there. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Frio's trying to move the ball too quick or anything like that. But we saw how poor Freo was last week versus West Coast. Like, if you're rucking and you're not getting the hit outs to advantage, there goes a lot of the ruck score, because I don't believe you actually get points for a hit out. You just get points for the advantage. You can actually lose points if you hit it to the opposition, which is what happened to Max Gorn. Yeah. So
you lose 1 point for every shark hit out. You lose a point. But the way it is even if it's +4, isn't it, for a hit out to advantage? So you can still have 3 hit outs sharked in a row, and then you have 1 hit out to advantage, and then just wipes out the 3, and you still have a net positive. It's ridiculous. Thoughts on Treloar? No, thank you. Adam Treloar has hamstrings, which, look, do you know that meme of what was it? Was it a chip holding the lock? You know what I mean? Like it's the door. That was it. What's that meme? There was a meme of like a Cheeto or cheese or whatever holding the door. I forgot what it's called. Is it a cheesel? Or a twisty? I don't know what's it called. Lock. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I can't find the picture, but there's a picture of an orange chip just holding the door. That's how fragile I think Treloar's hammies are. I don't trust him at all, unfortunately. He's prone to getting injured at any point in time. Big J with a cheeky upload.
My team review is now out. After the video, please check it out. It's a good video. And if you guys haven't already, jump on our Facebook. We've got a good interview coming out tomorrow. We'd love some questions. The post is here. We'll get rid of that. The post is here. Jump on our Facebook. Hopefully you guys are members on there. You've liked the page already. Post some questions down below. We've got the current #1 ranked player who is going to be on our stream. So it should be a lot of fun.
Lots of fun for sure. Darcy won't get dropped apparently.
No.
Praise the Lord.
No. I don't think he would ever get dropped.
Exactly. Who's a better trade, Mass or Cadman?
Massimo. Cadman, I think, still has a couple of spike games left in him. We've seen what he can do. He can pump out some 90s. Yes, Massimo can do the same. And I think Cadman has a lot more cash to keep. And I think at the moment, it's okay to have a Cadman in the forward line versus a Massimo scoring 60s in the back line. It's probably the way I'm evening it out.
Massimo, more like Massago. No, I'm just okay.
Oh, Joe's funny.
Please don't remind me of LDU's price on. Sorry, Chief. Green and Heaney, not doing that good. But of course, I'm not going to trade him out. But like if he does not do that good for the next 2 to 3 weeks, can I trade them out? Thoughts?
I think you have to wait at this point. We're stuck with Heaney. Sorry, not Heaney. I think if you've got a boost, you can sideways a green with some cash. I don't have a problem with it. But we need to be upgrading your team every week from now till the end of the season. You need to be upgrading your players. Until you've got a full team, you need to upgrade as much as you can. I'm hoping we get like someone good in next week who we can go maybe with a Garcia that I can afford. I think at the moment, Jack McRae is potentially in my team. Riley Garcia in, 2 players out. Get Jack McRae, I think that's the plan at the moment. But yeah, you need to be upgrading from now on in your sides.
Yep.
Like sidewaysing primos is done. Everyone, you don't want to be the guy that's got 15 primos and everyone else has 18. It's going to happen. And then you miss out on starting to get these guys at a cheaper price before they plateau and then start going up again. Petrarca won't be 600K very long. Same with Sarong, same with a few of these guys. Eka Walsh won't be 600K after this week. So, yeah.
No. Issa, best midfielders to get right now.
Sarong is good. Petrarca is good. Bit more expensive. I'd wait on Meritt, 150 odd break even. They're probably the ones. You've got Walsh as well, who's cheap, who hasn't had a price rise this year, 130-ish average. And then a Dawson, but I would probably wait on a Dawson.
Jeez, I don't know why. I've selected midfielder, and yet Max Gawn is still here. Oh, there we go. It's finally gone. We go by average. Sam Walsh, obviously inflated. Only played the 2 games. Heaney's going to be in all your forward lines. Got Matt Rowell, Zach Butters, Caleb Sarong, Zach Meritt. Oh, this is beautiful. This is glorious. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus Bont, Steele. Ended up doing God's work here and getting this a nice epiphany and fading Steele last week. That was dodged the bullet there. Not too bad. That 84 is going to be in this price cycle for a little bit, so I can get him a little bit later if I have to. Tom Green fallen all the way down to number 12. Oh my God.
And then you've got guys like Elliot Yeo that I've been harping on all season. Get Elliot Yeo in your team, and now he's the 11th best midfielder.
Unreal.
I think he's 3rd or 4th best defender as well. It's pretty crazy.
Petrarca's not sticking down here for long.
No.
So I think maybe this week or next week to get Petrarca in. I think next week, I think he's going to score really big this week, and then he won't lose that much money before next week. So I'd be looking at a Petrarca type next week, guys. Kai, last boost, Massimo, Dempsey, and Williams to Walsh, Zorko, and Biggie. Saves 98k. And looking at Bonner and Wilson to Dawson and Garcia the following week. Very cool. Especially if Dawson performs well with Crouch in the team. If he doesn't, then obviously question marks there. But it's good. You're pre-planning ahead and looking to see what you can do next week. Well done. Very well played, Kai. I like it. Harvey Dogshin, 600k in bank. After going Sanders to Garcia, do I go Williams to Walsh and maybe boost to get rid of Ambrosio? Garcia. So Williams to Walsh is very nice in one trade. So why would you need to boost then? To get rid of Ambrosio? I wouldn't. He's still got some money to make. He will have a little bit more money for you next week. You don't have to do that, Harvey. Garcia Doggies, Garcia Saints, or Biggie? Well, two of those are on the bubble. One isn't.
Save Garcia Western Bulldogs for next week. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
I'd go Saints. Biggie's got a bit sketch at the moment. Garcia Saints, he was playing pure mid, which I thought was very crazy from like the get-go of the game. Like legitimately just playing pure mid. So yeah, 9 tackles or something. Decent SuperCoach score. I'd pick him up.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great. Do we trade Tom Green?
No.
I'm not. Hoping Warner gets a game soon. He looked decent before he got knocked out. True, but Dan, the Frio Tragic, good friend of the channel, isn't really optimistic about his job security and that he was only in just to cover for some injured players who are now back in the team. So unlikely that we're going to see more of him for now. We're going to have to wait for some... He's going to have to either break his way into the team somehow or just wait for more injuries, unfortunately. Yep. Do we use our last boost this week? Thoughts on Zorko? So if he's using the boost to get Zorko in, you probably don't have to because I don't think Zorko is that expensive to warrant a boost. But he won't be this cheap forever either. What's his break-even like? His break-even is... I've clicked on him. Come on. Come on, Zorko. Come on. Come on. There we go. 66. So he should go up. Playing that halfback role.
Yep.
It's bloody good. Look at this.
Yeah.
127, 116, 130.
The biggest problem with Zorko is really just his body holding up. If you were lucky and got him at 480k, you're laughing. Especially with Kadeen Coleman out, kind of seeing what the role was going to be and whatnot. But yeah, it all just comes down to if you think he's going to be a keeper. Right now, he definitely looks the goods. That's probably the big thing.
Shrek's going to destroy Lord Farquaad's SuperCoach points for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Probably will. Yes, we saw that. Thoughts on S.J. Draper? D'Ambrosio to Walsh.
Josh Draper.
Okay. Josh Draper and Massimo. Don't tell me you have Sam Draper, Josh Draper, and D'Ambrosio to Walsh, Harry. Garcia, and Biggie. Do you really have Sam Draper, Harry? Are you taking the P155 right now? You do not own Sam Draper. I refuse to believe it, Harry. I refuse to believe it. Which trade is better? Williams, Dempsey, and Carroll out, and Rowell, Garcia, and McAuliffe in, or Williams, Jackson, and Carroll to Walsh, Harley, Reid, and Biggie? So you've traded out in the first one mid-pricer and 2 rookies to get in a premium, an Uber premium and 2 rookies. In the second one, you're trading out a premium a mid-pricer, and a rookie. Now, if Harley Reid's a keeper, then he's a premium. For 2 premiums and a rookie.
Okay.
But you've traded out.
Second-
Gee, that's tough.
Well, if Joe's saying that Harley Reid is a keeper, then I like the second one.
Yeah.
It's just tough that you're getting rid of Jackson. You could get rid
Right.
of Dempsey and some other ones, and then you could do a similar trade. Fantastic. You probably can't money-wise, but that would be the play, I think. I still like Jackson. I think he's still going to average a 90 in our forward line. Maybe not the 120s like what we've seen, but yeah. I think he's looking at a couple. Harry's asking us to check out his other comments.
Zach Williams, Draper, and D'Ambrosio to Walsh. H Guardians.
I think he's like talking on his phone and then autocorrect comes in. He doesn't like Garcia, so it's like, nah, Guardians.
H Guardians.
It's a Marvel movie, Joe. We're right.
Oh, I love it. Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Guardians of the Backline of Harry's team. So Williams, Draper, and Massimo out. Okay, so 2 mid-prices and a rookie for an Uber premium and 2 rookies. Yeah, what's wrong with that, Harry? That's fine. I love it. Track him this week, thoughts, and go Dons. Let's beat the Pies, Joey. Fingers crossed, bro. I'm praying for that. Hoops. I really am. But yeah, getting track him this week. He's got the Tigers. I mean, how can you say no? Really?
Yep.
And the Tigers are literally the worst in the league for stopping scores to midfielders. So it's a wonderful, wonderful time to bring him in. 157 break even. He could hit that. He really could. Make sure to save a few forwards primo spots when Ross pulls his head in and puts Owens in the midfield. Yes,
Guys,
I like
probably got about 5 minutes left. So if you've got some questions, we will answer them. But 5 minutes and then we're heading off.
Yeah, that's right, Dreezy. Cadman's probably going to get a lot more supply this week. I've been building my team with LDU, hoping to get him off field as an extra premium. Or do I just trade him? He's been a miserable watch for me all year.
Trade him. The big thing is, I didn't bring Truth Miller in my team. I wish I did, whatever. I didn't have Nick Martin after trading him out, and Nick Martin went big. SuperCoach, especially for us players who probably aren't going to be top, 10 this year in the rankings. Mental health is really important. If you hate seeing LDU on field and he's poor scoring and it's visibly making you cranky, and this is the same for everyone, right? If you visibly are getting annoyed at a player, either you don't have them or you do have them in your team and they're just fighting it up every week and you hate it, get rid of them. It really, you don't want to see this guy scoring 70s in your team on field. It's making you angry. Get in the bin, as Joe says. Get in the bin. It's not worth it for you to keep him in your side at that point. It's more about fun and enjoying football than that kind of thing.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so much for coming in, Chase. Thanks for coming in, mate. If you had fun and you enjoyed it, please drop us a like. Would greatly help the algo. Riley or Hugo? Hugo's in the bubble this week. You get Riley next week.
Yep. We don't have really any downgrade options for next week too. So
no, he's the only one at this point.
Yep.
Plan trades Mass Sharp to Dawson Garcia. Though I will have Meek on my bench for this week. Can't trade in anyone worth a damn. Do I just wait for one more price rise then trade? Yeah. You could wait a week with Mass. He'll make you money. His break even's on 40.
Yep.
Not for long, rookie. I think we're just about finishing up. Last couple of questions. Rookies to move. Cadman, Carroll, Mass, and Dempsey. Who goes first? Carroll.
Yes. I don't even know if he plays this week. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Should I keep Bonner for a little longer? Mate, we love long Bonners. Don't we?
Oh, that's just the content I have to do with. Tell you what.
That's what she said. 71 break even. And how's he been scoring in recent times?
It's not great.
Not great.
But
You can
he's
trade
probably
him.
not going to make you much more money.
No.
Maybe he gets to 400K. Potentially, he's projected to, but after that, give him 2 weeks.
Yep. Williams, Dempsey, Horn-Francis out. Nick Dacos, Walsh, and Garcia, any good?
I love it. Keep it up, Toby. You got rid of
Dacos
3
in there.
mid-prices. Horn-Francis obviously didn't work. Didn't get forward status.
Mate, it's been a long stream. Come on. Just cut us some slack, bro. Cut us some slack. Howes and Sharp to Walsh and Garcia, or boost and also go Sexton to McAuliffe. I wouldn't boost the Sexton to McAuliffe.
No. McAuliffe, like Sexton's on the cusp of coming back. McAuliffe has scored 70 in 2 games. Like, yeah. It's not great.
Green has gone in my team. Can't see another minute of that flight tracker went Green to Heaney.
There you go. That's fair.
It's been a long bonnet, Joe. It has been. Yes, and this is a good question. Very good question, Harry. And I forgot to mention this, talk to you, but Thursday, what's happening? It's public holiday. Bombers are playing against the Pies.
And you're
what are we
going to
doing?
watch the game.
Yes.
So does that mean we can do our live stream on Wednesday? It's a lot of content coming out on Wednesday. A lot of content.
But we're recording stuff, yeah.
Well, we'll have to record stuff tomorrow. So
Correct.
Wednesday we won't have stuff to record.
So maybe it's a Wednesday drive home this time.
But it's only 1 game of team sheets, right? Like, or is it a lot of games? How many games are on the Thursday? We won't get a lot of them.
No, it's just Essendon on the Thursday, I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I go to matches, fixture, round 7, Thursday. Oh, no, there's 2.
There's 2 games?
Why are the Giants playing against Brisbane on Anzac Day?
Why do other teams play on Good Friday, Joe? It's all conspiracy.
This is disgusting.
Let's do it. Drive home on Wednesday night, guys. Done.
There you go.
I don't think I'll be able to do it all day, but drive home Wednesday night. Let's make it happen.
That will be very nice. I think that's about...
Yep. That'll be us.
Frickin' Spud, Marshall trade him. Yeah, I know that was disgusting. Zero burst list. Would you get Walsh with no bank, knowing next week you can only afford up to 480K for a one down?
You can probably get McRae.
Yeah, correct. Or maybe not. I think McRae's got a low break even. I don't know about that. Getting Meritt and Petrarca on the next 2 rounds. Would I grab next week?
Sarong probably. No. So he's getting Meritt and Petrarca over the next 2. I would grab Petrarca first and then Meritt after. I think that's how I read it. If you're getting these guys, Sarong's another play to get in as well because he's got low break even.
Yeah, I was thinking about my trade next few weeks.
If you haven't already, we haven't got any posts on the Facebook. Would love to see some there. If you guys can post, please do that for us. It would be amazing. Show Victor, who's coming on tomorrow, the support, and show him that, hey, we've got a good community here at the Centre Bounce because I know you guys are watching. Make sure you jump on the Facebook and you can do that for me. Cool? Let's go.
Ciao for now. Who says this? It's our good friend, the Skodfather. I love it. Yes. Ciao for now. Will Dacos go big on Anzac Day? Yes, I'm sure he will. But Meritt will go even bigger. Yes, Velo. I love it. You tell him. Guys, we'll call it a night for now. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, it is our pleasure and our joy to always talk with all of you wonderful dudes and dudettes. We hope you enjoyed the stream as much as we enjoyed talking with all of you. Please drop us a like on the stream. Would greatly help the algorithm. Obviously, there's still 101 of you. I want to see 101 likes. Would be amazing if that was the case. If not, then so be it. You can tell me get stuffed, Joe. We're not gonna answer you. We're not gonna like it.
Guys, remember, jump on the Facebook. You'll see the link there. Post up a question. It's going to be an amazing episode tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. And then hopefully we can bring on some more, players as they go throughout the season as well. So it should be a lot of good fun. As Joe says, tomorrow is going to be big uploading day. We've got our captain's videos. We've got the video with Victor. And we've got our break-evens video tomorrow, Joe. So stay tuned. Wednesday's going to get blasted. Tuesday night's going to get blasted. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to be blasted. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard works that you guys don't have to. See ya.